Kyle Larson is the king of the high line.
Drink.
Everybody else, except for maybe Tyler Reddick, cannot replicate it. That's why everybody else is a pretender.
I will say this.
Because you ain't young money. Hey, I like Kyle hung money. Young hang.
He's hung money. Young hung what?
Young hung.
Wang hung.
Where did we go with that? But no, he's the greatest at running the high line. So.
Drink. Fuck. That's 3. You owe 3.
I know. It's a podcast, damn it. I'm trying to talk. That's why I'm trying to explain.
That's the problem.
I'm trying to explain
you
why.
Shut the hell up.
I sung that song because you didn't understand. You understand it now?
I get it. But the problem is...
I get it now.
The problem is he's not that good.
I'm the problem.
He's not that good.
Oh, he's really good at it.
No, he's only won 2 races there.
Should have won by 6.
Well, maybe if he didn't drive it through the damn sand barrels.
It's true. Or wreck trying to pass Blaney at the end of last year's race.
Yeah, fair.
And just kind of giving up on a couple races because he wasn't in the championship four. Remember that? With I think it was with Kyle Busch, 1-1, I think. He was up there with Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson won his. Yeah, Truex is up there with Truex's too.
Yeah. They always said that if he ever got there,
he'd win it.
But then when he got in a good car, they moved it.
Yeah.
But
fair.
Yeah, he's very good for sure.
He makes some mistakes. He'll hit the wall, but he'll bounce back.
Yeah, but with this car, that's I think is.
Yeah, but you saw it. Nobody else could do it like him.
Well,
even Reddick didn't have a great car. Your pick. He didn't have a great car. He couldn't do it.
He still got a good day out of it.
I mean, 8th. Didn't lead any
laps.
But
here's the thing.
Was a no-show all day pretty much.
Larson wasn't the best car.
Yes, he was.
No, he wasn't.
Who was?
Ryan Blaney.
Yeah, well, he's the GOAT. So
Ryan Blaney had the best car. Larson probably shouldn't even won the race.
It would have been a hell of a battle between him and
would have been a hell of a view.
It'd have been a lot like last year before Larson ran out of talent.
Yeah. But I don't think he would have had. I think
fucking Penske's parts would stop blowing the fuck up. Come on, Penske. Fuck.
Yeah, shit happens. But
2 out of 3 weeks?
Yeah.
That shit don't happen no more. This ain't NASCAR Thunder 04.
It happened to JGR.
This ain't the faux car in NASCAR Thunder 04, ho.
Yeah. That thing does blow up about every week.
The Kodak car.
Yeah, we'll speak on that a little bit later. Shout out Parker Retzlaff.
Welcome back to what?
This podcast.
That's not what this is called.
It's the podcast about NASCAR, hosted by you and I.
The low line.
Yeah, the opposite of
the low line.
The low line. But I will say this about Kyle Larson. I think I would do better in that car than he's doing in that.
You've lost your fucking mind.
I mean, that thing essentially drives itself. So.
Oh yeah, totally.
The only guy that can't win in that car is obviously Chase Elliott because the other guys are.
Well, Alex Bowman hadn't won yet.
I mean, he probably should have if he didn't knock the fence down, but
because he's a pretender. He's a pretender.
He's not good.
He can't ride the
But
high line.
how bad does that look? Chase? How bad does that make Chase Elliott?
Yeah, to be fair, he. Listen, I'm not going to defend Chase Elliott a whole lot the past couple weeks. He's been pretty miserable.
Average.
I mean, average, but that's
miserable in a Hendrick car.
Yes. And what I will say, he was fringe top 10 for most of the day until he got that penalty on pit road, which, to be fair, was the correct call. I know it was kind of bullshit in the moment, Chase Elliott fans. I am a Chase Elliott fan. That was the right call. You can't do that. Can't try to. I know he's trying to avoid running into somebody. That's shit happens on pit road sometimes. You just live and learn. It was a penalty. So I get the frustration, but it was a penalty. But him to not come back to where he was running that last run, it was just like the fucking race here last year. He was not nearly as good as he was here last year, but he was fringe top 5 in the fall. Had a possible race-winning car. The last stage, he fell off a cliff and finished like 5th or 6th. Same shit happened again. The very last stage, they lose track of their position because he made his way back up into the top 20 pretty quickly after that penalty, and then he just stayed there the whole last run, finished 18th. While his teammate, William Byron, who got a speeding penalty, came all the way back from the back to not to the front, but finished, I think, 12th. You're not going to get any sympathy from me. Like, you got to figure out how to close these races and have your best run of your day the last run of the day. And it seems like more times than not, this 9 team figures out a way to have their best run of the day in the middle of the race and have their worst run of the day at the end of the race. It's like the opposite of Chris Buescher right now. Chris Buescher will be shit at the beginning of the race, and he will find his way into the top 10 at the end of the day. It's the complete opposite of what
That's because Chris Buescher is a talented race car driver, and he didn't get that ride because of his name.
I am being honest, 100%. No bullshit, and you're not gonna get me going with that chick.
Nepotism.
Chase Elliott is one of the most talented drivers in the Cup Series. Okay,
he's the fourth best guy at Hendrick for sure.
He's got to get his shit together. They've got to get their shit together.
Fourth best car at
Alan
Hendrick.
Gustafson has got to get the shit together.
Let's blame it on Alan.
I've been blaming it on Alan for years.
Alan doesn't hold the wheel.
He's not holding a pretty wheel. Chase is not, and Alan's not giving him a car to run a pretty wheel with.
Yeah, well, see, the problem is, like I said,
I'm the problem.
The problem is, like I said, Chase Elliott got that ride because of his name, not because of his talent. So, I mean, it is what it is.
I mean, he's only a champion. But, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fucking Mickey Mouse championship, and you know it.
Fair, but he still is a champion. But Logano, but you don't give no shit to Logano.
He got 3!
Yes! All in this Mickey Mouse format when he didn't deserve it any of the 3 years.
That's not true.
What year did he deserve it?
His first one.
No, that was the big 3 year. You full of shit.
The second
2022 would maybe the only one, but still, even then, he wasn't that good.
Anyways,
Chase Elliott didn't have that championship that year.
Back to Homestead South. Or
Homestead South? What the hell is that? Mexico?
Homestead North.
Homestead,
New Hampshire now.
That'll be in the playoffs.
But
we'll call Homestead. We'll call New Hampshire Homestead North.
Yeah, but the racing was kind of bullshit.
See, I disagree with you on that.
I thought it was boring.
I liked it.
I didn't. No, mainly because my guys sucked all day. But
yeah, Chris Buescher was a 6th. But yeah,
he finished 6th. But you said it yourself. He was not good. They figure it out at the end. But
all that matters where
Brad ran. Not really.
Yeah,
not with stage points.
I'm worried about Brad.
But Brad ran 35th all day. Priest was not that fast. Now he squeaked out a decent finish, but
9th. 2 top 10s.
Yeah, I mean, I can't be mad at the finishes for the 60 and the 17.
Yeah, you notice on your TikTok review you said, good days for the 6 and the 60, but Brad Keselowski had a bad day.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Dumbass.
Well, shit happens.
Brad Keselowski, what number Brad Keselowski drive now? The damn 09 again?
Yeah. But, they sucked pretty much all day. Good finishes for them. But so that was kind of frustrating to watch. And then it was dominated by the 12 car until he blew up. So that there was pretty much nobody that could touch him. I think.
Denny and
Denny
Larson
got up there for a
passed
little bit.
him because they kind of split the strategy.
Yeah, and the strategy was fun to watch, but the actual similar to Vegas last week, the actual on track racing product was not super enjoyable to me, at least. I don't think this car fits Homestead quite as good as the old car does, or did. It definitely not as good as the Xfinity car does.
What about the fall racing last year? It was amazing.
It was good. The ending made it better than it was.
Could be fair,
but it's. I thought Vegas was a better race, and I think at least 50% of the people that voted in our poll agreed. I think it was pretty close to 50-50. At least last I looked, it was
28. Yes. Was a good race. 25, no.
But it was, like I said, it was average.
I'm sure about half those yeses are Kyle Larson fans.
Yeah, probably. But I thought it was an average race. I thought it was decent. I mean, I'm not mad at the race. I wouldn't, fallen asleep or anything. But it wasn't, I probably won't remember this race in 5 years. If I do, it's going to be, that was the race that the 12 fucking hand grenaded after he was dominating. But that's probably all I remember.
Yeah.
Because really nothing else happened of note.
Christian Bell spun out.
Oh, yeah. Wow. So car spun out.
Well, yeah, he fucking sucked, though, rest of the day.
Sure. Shane Van Gisbergen had some problems.
Like he does every week.
Never going to remember it. But,
Yeah, I mean, I get you.
And it was a good battle coming down to the end. And like you said, there was a good, strategy on the pit strategy and coming down to the end of the stages with the 11, the 5, and the 12. But there's just not a lot happened. And there wasn't a lot of, side-by-side battles. for the lead for prolonged, and there wasn't a ton of comers and goers and comers. So it was an average race. It was a 5 out of 10.
I think this race was better than Vegas. I don't remember what I rated Vegas last week, like 6.5 out of 10. I'd give it a 7.5. I enjoyed it, and I know, Blaney, one of my guys, kind of dominated the race. Stage 1 at one point, I think he had like an 8-second lead on second, which isn't great. I will admit that. But I feel like at this track, there was more driver control over you moving through the field. I felt like at Vegas last week, it was just kind of all heavy track position. If your car had to be fast for you to be able to move up through there. Here at Homestead, it mattered more on driver skill than necessarily having a really fast car. Now, you need both, obviously, but, William Byron drove its way from 30th to 12th in the last run. I don't think you could have done that last week at Vegas, in my opinion, in that 24 car. I just don't. It was just not enough off-throttle time. The corners were sweeping, longer turns here at Homestead. You gotta, you can find certain spots at the track. If you really go on the bottom, like a Chris Buescher was, he's going on the bottom all day. You could make your way up through the field, but you'd burn your tires up. And then, of course, you'd have the Larson line up at the top where he can't. Nobody else can really do what he can do other than maybe Reddick. And even then, I don't even think Reddick can do quite as good as what Larson can on that top lane. So I just felt like it was more driver skill. There's more driver input in this race than it was last week. That's why I enjoyed it more. And I get that Blaney was up there fast, and Buescher had a good day at the end. And Chase, we're not talking about Chase right now. We already talked about him. But overall, I thought the racing itself was good. You had some battles. You had Bubba and Bowman battle there towards the end of the stage before Kyle Larson, hit his groove and was able to take off and pass all those guys to win the race. But overall, I give it a 7.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. If this is a quote unquote bad Homestead race, I'll take it over any good Phoenix race. I'll take it over any good Sonoma race. There's a lot of New Hampshire race, or Homestead North race. A lot of the kind of bad to average races here are better than still the best races at these other tracks. So I enjoyed it. I'd give it 7 out of 10. Yeah, it was.
I thought Phoenix was a better race than this race.
For Phoenix, it was good, but I still enjoyed this race more.
Sure, but it's comparable.
It is comparable,
and that's
with an option tire, and that's with Phoenix's best race in forever.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, Homestead is not as good as it used to be.
No, I disagree with that. I just think you had a race where there wasn't a whole lot of restarts, wasn't a whole lot of wrecks, and you had a guy that, you still had a good battle for the lead. It really wasn't a battle, but, Kyle Larson trying to chase his teammate down with 7 to go, and then Bowman puts it in the wall, and Larson drives off. But it was still intriguing. It wasn't like Kyle Larson got off to a 5-second lead, and there was no chance
like
in hell.
He did on Saturday.
A 15-second lead, and like he had nobody else had a chance. Like, it was still entertaining and intriguing to see what was going to happen.
Like I said, it wasn't a bore. I did say it was boring.
You said it. On this board right here, you say it's a bore fest.
It wasn't
New Hampshire South was a bore.
It wasn't a bad race.
It was a hog?
Just an uneventful race.
Yeah, that happens. Doesn't
Which
make it.
is, like I said,
it's a bad
fine.
race.
I said it last week at Vegas. That's fine. You'll have those races. That's what makes the great races great. It's because most of them aren't that way. So it was just, like I said, it was an average NASCAR race.
I think it was a little bit better than average.
It's nothing that I will not remember a damn thing about this race probably next year.
Well, is it fair for you to kind of critique this race more considering it's Homestead? If we have this race at a Phoenix, you would say, oh, it was a pretty good race for Phoenix standards.
Sure.
So why? Is it just because of the track?
You got higher expectations.
Okay, that's fair. I still think it was a good race. I still enjoyed it for the most part. And, I'm hoping, I think kind of what I said last week kind of not backfired, but it kind of didn't come to fruition. I said the only good thing about having this race in the spring is that more guys can kind of just go for broke, whether in the playoffs or not, because it's been a playoff race the past couple of years. It kind of did not end. It kind of didn't wind up like that. People just kind of didn't take risk, not
the board game.
Yes. It just not a lot. I agree, not a lot happened, but that doesn't make it a bad race. or a boring race in my opinion. I had a great time watching it. It's probably, this might be a hot take, it's probably the best race of the season so far for me.
That's not even close.
What's the best race?
Atlanta. Honestly, I think it goes Atlanta.
Okay,
Phoenix.
maybe Atlanta's maybe a little bit better, but his Homestead's right on its heels.
I think it goes Atlanta, Phoenix, Vegas, Homestead, Daytona, Coda.
I'm about to say, what about Coda? Coda wasn't that bad.
It's a road course.
Coda, that's fair, but yeah, no, I'd put it second. I'd put Atlanta, Homestead,
I'd put it fourth.
Phoenix, Vegas, Daytona, and then Coda.
But Coda wasn't that bad.
No, it really wasn't. Actually, I'd probably, you know what? No, I'll take that back. Coda, then Daytona.
Yeah, Daytona did kind of suck.
Even though we rated it pretty damn high after the race. But that was recency bias.
And
very
drunk bias.
Yeah. Yes, it was. Anyways, New Hampshire South. Oh, by the way, let us know down in the comments below what you thought about this race. Did you enjoy it? And all that stuff.